Welcome back. In this video, I'm trying to figure out which upgrades I should do on my old Dell Optiplex 3020. If you enjoy this video, please subscribe. Every subscriber matters. The Dell Optiplex series is known to be one of the most upgradable desktops, especially for gaming. Most of them are full-size desktops, however mine is a small form factor. This means less wattage for my power supply and less space for my graphics card. This old computer has been sitting in my basement forever, so I think it's really time that I should now upgrade it. Let's open the computer up and see what we're working with. Hopefully there are no rats and cockroaches. That's a relief. No rats or cockroaches, and it's not too shabby. Alright, it looks like we have all of our components besides a hard drive. We also have a broken power button, but that's the least of our concern. I'll try finding the specs of this online since I don't have an extra hard drive on hand. Okay, after doing some research and looking online, it looks like I have an Intel i3 4160 with 4GB of DDR3 RAM, and it had Windows 8 before the hard drive was removed. The GPU it came with was an AMD Radeon HD 8570, and the power supply it came with is rated at 255 watts. The thing with the motherboard is that I can only get a 4th generation Intel CPU to work with it, so my choices are I have to either upgrade the motherboard, so I'll have to change the CPU, or I can keep the motherboard and upgrade the CPU, which will save me money. Looking on eBay, I can get an i7 4790 for around $40 used. Getting two 8GB of DDR3 1600MHz of RAM is around $25, so that's not too bad. I can also pick up an SSD with an adapter for $35. I need an adapter because it's an old motherboard. Now I'm thoroughly confused about which GPU to get. Unlike the other parts where I knew what I wanted and what I should upgrade, the GPU is always something that's messed me up. The AMD Radeon HD 8570 that came with the computer is dated and only has DVI support, no HDMI. It is a PCIe 16 port, so I'll need to find the best possible budget GPU in this category, which won't consume so much power. Looking at the best slim profile options, we have the NVIDIA GT710 for $50, the GT730 for $80, and the GT1030 for $100. I know that the GT1030 is much more powerful than the rest, however I want to check out if it's worth the extra money. I'll be using UserBenchmark to compare the FPS for each graphics card for each game. Then I'll divide the FPS by the cost. So this will give us the amount of FPS per dollar. So this will give me the idea about which one's going to be giving me the highest FPS per dollar cost. So which one's essentially the biggest bang for the buck. I know you all may have some opinions about UserBenchmark, but this is what I'll be using. My game of choice is Rocket League. The GT1030 gives us an average of 50 FPS. So 50 FPS divided by $100 is 0.5 FPS per dollar. Let's remember that number and compare the other two. The GT710 is an average of 30 FPS, so 30 FPS divided by $50 is 0.6 FPS per dollar. The GT730 is an average of 34 FPS, so 34 FPS divided by $80 is 0.43 FPS per dollar. This means that the GT710 is the best bang for the buck because it's giving us 0.1 FPS per dollar higher than even the 1030. But that brings us to my total cost of my upgrades to $150. Since my power supply is a small form factor, it is something that's very hard to upgrade since it has a different shape. So that's a problem for future me. Alright, taking a look at my build on UserBenchmark with relatively similar prices, we have an 8% increase in gaming, a 17% increase as a desktop, and a 7% increase as a workstation. My new build is on the left, and my old build is on the right. Sorry, not build, upgrades. Of course, I am trying to save money, so I get less of a performance boost. But if I spend more money, there would have been a higher significant performance boost. Future me editing this video. Wow, I said a lot of words there, didn't I? I meant to say a better performing build. Back to the video. If you know any better graphics card for upgrading, please comment below. I'll definitely be looking through the comments, so don't hesitate. This video was meant to help show the process of selecting components when upgrading a computer. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, please consider subscribing to Vumi Tech. Until next time.